Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, not much. How about you, man?
Oh, just living the dream here. It's about 80 something degrees, and I'm refusing to turn on the air conditioning. And I'm also wearing pants instead of shorts. So by the end of the podcast, I may just be in fully nude. But luckily, it's audio only. But it is hot, and I welcome it because I hate winter. But today it's humid, and I'm an idiot for putting on pants to go to the grocery store earlier because my Reebok pumps look cooler with pants, and my legs are very white, and I'm embarrassed. So,
I bet I could give you a run for your money with the whiteness.
yeah, you could out white me.
Yeah, anytime,
You
dude.
are a pale fella.
I got in me,
You
and
got what? And you, it sounded like I bleeped it out. It cut out. What'd you say?
well, I guess Irish is a bad word. No, I have a lot of Irish in me, and I
Yeah,
didn't start getting like reddish hair until I was an adult, which is really fucking weird.
that's a curse. You think you're good? What color was your hair when you were a kid?
Bleach blonde.
Oh man, so you thought you had the full like Hitler's dream going on, and then boom, right there, hit you with the red. You got the fucking Lucky Charms just out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I spent 4 hours in the sun today skating, and I'm feeling it now. I'm pretty worn out, but I did my due diligence in drinking. What are they? Electrolytes.
Yeah,
Those,
yeah.
yeah,
What'd you go
those
with? Did you go with the Gatorade or
coconut water.
coconut
Coconut water.
water? Wow, you are bougie. You are bougie. I have drank the coconut water before. It's not bad. It's not bad. I've been on a vitamin water kick lately. I've been getting fountain vitamin waters like a real piece of trash, and just drinking
Like
40.
this really syrupy kind.
Yeah, just drinking 44 ounces of vitamin water and pretending that it's good for me and it's not going to give me diabetes. But we both know that's not true. But it's better than a Code Red Mountain
Well,
Dew.
it's vitamin water, bro. It's better than water itself.
I'm just trying to follow it. I want to be as fat as 50 Cent was at the Super Bowl eventually. That's what I'm shooting for.
Well, I
Well,
was actually going to ask about 50 Cent because he used to like do a lot of vitamin water ads.
yeah, he was. I actually, this is how big of a dork I am. I was doing a little Googling about vitamin water the other day because I was actually trying to see like how much sugar's in it, and it's not good. So,
No.
kind of trying to cut that little bad habit out. But yeah, I guess in the 2000s or whatever, when vitamin water came out, he was a big fan of it. And I guess he like rapped about it a few times and also featured it in his videos just because he really liked it. And then I think the company that Vitamin Water was owned by reached out to him to do like a collab where he did like a 50 cent flavor, like grape or something like that. And then he got on the, like, became part owner or something like that. And then when Coke was trying to branch out. I mean, this is the American way, but Coke was trying to branch out into non-carbonated beverages, I think in the late 2000s. And then they bought Vitamin Water from this other company, and 50 Cent made like $150 million because of his shares that he had. So,
Well, it's not lost in America to make anything a big money maker, especially those who are already millionaires. But I will say this: I'm surprised, or not surprised, that it wasn't. It was. I wasn't unironic. I think is what I'm trying to say because like it'd be the equivalent of Andre 3000 doing a Polaroid picture ad because of Shake It Like a Polaroid Picture. They're like,
yeah,
hey, let's sell some
I
shit
think
because this
that,
guy mentioned
yeah,
us.
but I think Andre 3000 has a little bit more artistic integrity
Oh, he's way better.
than 50 Cent. So it is what it is. Well, hey, man, tell everybody who you are and what you do and all that jazz. And then we'll get back to 50 Cent because
Yeah, sure. Because that's really important to talk about.
that's what we, I mean, that's really why I got a hold of you. I was like, there's no two people on the planet that are more well suited to talk about 50 Cent than Andrew and Chris.
Right. I think I own the first album, but I'll get to who I am.
Okay.
My name is Andrew Cummins. I'm originally from Princeton, Kentucky. I guess technically I've been all over the world and was raised in foreign country Honduras and been around the world and I have a lot of interests. So musician. I think that's how you and I met. Playing shows, same on the same bill. Makes it sound official, but really it was just like 5 people, local shows. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I'm a Spanish interpreter by day, and I like to aggressive rollerblade and skateboard, things like that. I'm 34, still doing it. Keeps me in shape, and it also hurts a lot. So
Yeah.
it's a nice happy medium there.
Keeps my muscles in shape so my bones in pain.
You'll probably hear cracking knuckles and knees and ankles because I had a pretty hardcore session, 4 hours
Now,
today in the sun. That's a lot for me.
were you rollerblading today?
I was, yeah.
Not actually skateboarding. You were rollerblading.
I don't skateboard as much as I used to. I did that from the time I was 12 to the time I was about 18. That was like all I did aside from typing to girls that I thought were attractive on MSN Messenger and all those fun things
Oh
before we had
yeah.
cell phones.
Oh, I
But
mean,
yeah.
those were the days. I remember in high school, one of my friends had an email, and I was like, "Why do you have an email address?" And he was like, "Chicks, bro." I was like, "Really? You're getting women through email?" And he was. So I was, I've always been behind the curve when it comes to technology, and I'm just an old, antiquated man. But yeah, man. I mean, I met you through your podcast. I mean, not I met you through music, but I really got to know you doing your podcast individually. And tell people about your podcast because I think it's pretty cool concept, and I think it's good the way that you do it. So kind of explain what that is to people if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, I started individually in October of 2018 because I did radio professionally. I guess you could say professionally if you did it for money, even if I sucked. But I definitely
No,
love radio. But
I do this podcast unprofessionally because I'm not getting any money for this shit. But it's
oh no, I didn't get a dime from these other podcasts. But
yeah.
I decided to start the podcast because I had a nice Electro voice microphone that my dad had given me because I was going to say I was born into it. My dad's been doing radio since the 70s, and I think I was like 21 or something, and I was like still living with my parents, and my dad's like, hey, if you want to do this voice tracking gig for this bluegrass station out of Hardin, you can do it if you need a little extra money, aka get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
It's a start, right? But no, I started voice tracking, which is, for those that don't know, they send you the log and you see like all the list of songs, and you have software at home and you record. You do like you backtrack, say what people are listening to, what's coming up, you read events, things like that, and you send the files to the radio station, and then the radio station inserts them into the log. So when it's playing, it sounds like it's live, but it's not.
Yeah.
So with that comes, risky territory when it comes to like weather and shit. So like if the weather's bad suddenly and you recorded it's fucking real nice outside,
Oh
you're gonna
yeah.
look
Yeah.
dumb. But so I started voice tracking in 2010 ish, I think, and then by 2011 I was a news guy, like operations manager, news director, all these other titles
Regular
that they gave me.
regular Tom Brokaw.
No, just the guy that the corporate part of the radio station gave a bunch of responsibility because they didn't want to pay multiple people to do the job right.
That is the American way.
It sure is.
Here's more work and not more money.
Exactly, yeah. And they thought because I was like 23 at the time that if they gave me salary that I would be like, ooh, salary. And I kind of was, because I was like, oh, this is money, this is cool.
Well, I mean,
small town.
I think Blink 182 said it best. No one likes you when you're 23.
No, they don't. And I learned that the hard way. But anyway, long story short, I did that for a while. And then actually, when I moved to Paducah, I wanted to continue my radio shit. So I got a job working at like 4 a.m. at the Rabbit station,
Yeah.
WKYQ.
Yeah.
And they came up, like, they told me I couldn't use my real name. I was like,
Why?
okay. Because I guess there's reasons, I guess, you don't want to give your identity out. I was like, I really don't fucking care, but since you're telling me this and I work for you, then I'll do it. So they helped me come up with the stupidest fucking name ever. It was Dusty Lane. So if there's any Dusty Lanes out there listening right now, your name fucking sucks. All right, you might as well
Man,
change it.
and it was a country station?
Yeah, and I wasn't gonna be like 93.3
Yeah.
KYQ Dusty
What's
Lane.
Do you
coming
know
in with
what
it.
Do you know what, like, the moniker Dusty Lane for a country radio station DJ? It's the equivalent of the country music up and coming person that's like indie taking the railroad tracks picture.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
never. I'm not a fan of the railroad tracks picture. I remember whenever I first moved to Paducah, I put out an album, my first album called Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee, like shortly after I had moved here, and I did some like in air quotes press, which means the Paducah Sun, and
Nice.
the
You
guy,
probably knew him, didn't you?
I think I just called him.
Oh, cool.
I think
He's like, oh fuck yeah, I need some shit for this day.
Yeah. That's how low. Yeah, definitely, exactly. Like that was one thing I realized quickly was you could pretty much call any publication in Paducah and be like, "Hey, I took a like." You could be like, "I took a crap in a laundry basket. Would you guys like to do a story about it?" And they're like, "Yeah, please," because we don't have anything to write
It's
about.
better than the other crap.
Yeah, but I remember the guy took a photo. First of all, I was wearing a fedora. That's on me. But I do like a fedora. I do like
Well,
a
it was
fedora.
on you if you were wearing it, yes, but that one is one you're taking full credit for, and I respect that.
I'm taking credit for it, but I do like fedoras. It's just, it's just so associated with douchebag, and there's plenty of people that think I'm a douchebag. So
Neckbeard.
maybe yeah, exactly. Maybe the shoe fits, but a fedora at one point in time was a classy hat, in the 50s and everything, and then
The natural wearing motherfucker.
yeah. And so I really liked it, but I was wearing a fedora, and I believe I had one leg up against a brick wall, and they took a photo of me in an alley, and it was just like I wish I could find it because I
Were you wearing the plaid shorts that were really popular in the mid 2000s?
no, I was never a fan of the plaid shorts. I did have multiple pairs of cargo shorts, and I rocked those bitches.
Dude, I still like cargo shorts.
I
man.
rocked the cargos until probably 2014, which was about 3 or 4 years too long. And then finally, I think the cargo pants that I had like got holes in them or something like that, and it was time to buy new shorts. So I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna get regular shorts, and I've been anti cargo since. There are days though, like I went to work last week, and it was warm, and I'd wore my coat, and I had all these things in my coat pockets, and then I wanted to leave my coat in the car, and I couldn't because I needed the pockets for all the stuff. And if I'd have had a nice pair of plaid cargo shorts, I could have just waltzed right up in there and had everything I needed for the day in one of, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets, maybe 7,
If we want to talk pockets, we could talk Jinko.
I mean, we can talk Jinko. I'm not afraid. I never had Jinkos.
I didn't either.
I knew people that did, and they were generally very high and about 15 years old. And I was, by the way, to make that sound better, I was also 15. This wasn't like 4 years ago, where I was hanging out with 15-year-old kids. But yeah, when I was 15, like everybody that had Jinkos was, they were the plug. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
but there was a group of kids in my high school. Actually, wow, yeah, I haven't thought about this in a long time. But there was a Huck's gas station across the street from my high school, and everybody would go over there at lunch to smoke cigarettes and hacky sack and wear Jenkos and
Definitely the 90s.
compare Jenkos. Oh yeah, for sure. And one of my friends, guy named Derek Holva, had a band in my hometown called the Hucksters because they called everybody that went over there Hucksters that like went and smoked and stuff. And he had this like punk band that was called the Hucksters, and they were really good. I actually think I would jam with them at practice whenever I first started playing electric guitar. It was really fun. But yeah, man, hacky sack, Jenkos, cigarettes, marijuana at lunchtime. That's what
Oh, yeah.
Jenkos remind me of. And unfortunately, corn. Not the vegetable, but the band.
Yeah, with the K.
Yeah. In Southern Illinois, where I'm from, in the late 90s, when that shit came out, everybody loved it. And I was just like, why do you guys like this shit? It's trash. And they were all just like, getting, which isn't even corn, but
They were getting the life.
Yeah, dude. It was just,
Like,
I remember being in the country with one of my friends in his truck. We were smoking weed and we were probably like 18. And, he had weed, so I wanted to go get high. And we were riding around in the country and we got stoned. And then he had corn in the CD player like the whole time. And
wow.
I was really high and I remember just being like, this wasn't worth it.
I was
Like,
wondering if you quit weed after that because of how it made you feel.
no, no, no. I've never been much on quitting. Winners never quit. But I just remember being like that. Whatever that like rock rap culture was so big in like
Yeah.
rural areas, and then from that kind of sprouted like Eminem, which I actually liked Eminem, but it was fascinating time where there were a lot of angry whites, a lot of young angry whites, and they didn't really
Yep.
know what to do
No
with.
shortage of those.
Yeah, there never is. There never is. Karen's been around for a long time in
Karen keeps shitting out motherfuckers, dude.
yeah, in men too. Karen was a man. Actually, Karen's transgender because for years she was actually a man.
Was she?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think
Hmm.
about white men over the course of history, they're always
Oh yeah.
bitching about something. So, how progressive that
And
Karen
taking
Karen,
shit.
Karen is culturally transgender. She finally got her own in this day and age. But but yeah, man. We just that's what
I'll
we
tell you
do.
about individually real quick.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I fucking went off on a tangent. So
Well,
basically,
that's what we do. We've done
that's
this
right.
before. There's no
Yeah,
telling
dude.
where it's going to land. It's like a game show. We spin the wheel, and then the next thing you know, we're talking about growing tomato plants. We'll talk about anything.
Dude,
So
for sure.
buckle up.
But
We don't know where it's going to go. Let's talk about individually.
we didn't plan anything. He told me in setting this up, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna call you and we're just gonna talk." I was like, "All right, man."
Yeah, yeah. That's the
But
that's the way to do it.
yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and get that thought out of the way.
Cool.
Basically, I did radio for a few years. Last radio gig, shit. I'm trying to think. So I did the rap station. That's in Paducah, country music. I didn't like it. I got a job at this very cultish, what is it, health food store where they freaked me out a little bit. They were nice to me, but they were really fucking weird. But anyway,
That's Colts.
yeah, dude, I'm not into that stuff. But I ended up moving to Lexington eventually, where I've been a Spanish interpreter for 6 years, and I decided
Buenos
that I wanted
tardes, mi amigo.
exactly. That was immaculate Spanish, very
Thank
very
you.
good stuff.
Thank you.
But I wanted to keep doing radio, right? I wanted to keep that going, right? Because I really enjoy it, and I'm talking a lot of shit because that's just what I do. But honestly, I really enjoy radio and all that comes with it. But so
Dude,
I
dude.
what's up?
Okay, I know I'm interrupting, but that's
You're fine.
what I do. Why don't
Yeah.
you get a job at a Spanish radio station?
I don't know. I never thought.
That
I don't
would
think there is
be
one. There's a volunteer one here. but
God.
they don't
Go
pay yet,
work
so.
at it. There's not a better culture. We'll get into that later because I want to talk to you about Spanish, but because I do
That's
speak,
cool.
I speak a little Spanish, but it's very bad. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, but yeah, you should get a job at
No,
a Spanish radio station.
all good, man. Yeah. So anyway, I've been doing the Spanish interpreting thing for about 6 years now, and I think it was 2018 summer. I think it was. I was like, there's this college radio station, UK, University of Kentucky, for those listening who don't know, but most of your listeners probably know that. But they
United
had this
Kingdom.
college. Yeah, exactly. United Kingdom college. That's the only one they have. But anyway, they have a radio station called WRFL. It's their college radio station, and I saw where they were asking for volunteers to do shows. And basically, you volunteer, you help them out. They don't pay you, and you get a show. And I did a show called Playlist ADD for close to 2 years. That's the last radio thing I did. But
Good
I
title.
kind of
Did you come up with
yeah,
that
man.
title?
I did, yeah.
It's a good
I don't
title.
like to run with things that aren't mine, but thank you.
Yeah.
But I decided that I had too much on my plate at the time, and I just kind of bowed out from that, and I started doing some podcasting stuff. And I was doing the podcasting while I was doing the radio show or whatever, Playlist ADD. And I started individually because I had all this gear. All I did was buy like a compressor and a dynamics processor and a tube amplifier, really just for voice signals. And then I had all this other stuff that I already knew how to do,
Yeah.
and my experience working in radio translated. But in a nutshell, since I am a musician and I enjoy talking about music and all this other stuff and radio, so I decided to put it all together and started a podcast called Individually. That's independent, like independent, individually, where I go through the entire album in question with the band. They call in, or an artist, and we talk for a while and we go song by song. I answer the songs in later to give it that live sound, if you're like, NPR. Um, it's like, it was like, I don't want to compare myself to Joe Rogan, but it's kind of like that long form podcast stuff. That's kind of what I like. So I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to be honest, like, I kind of got burnt out, and I haven't done one in a while, but it's not to say that I won't return to it sometime, but right now I've just been doing other things. But thank you for asking me about it. You can find it on Spotify,
Yeah, and
Apple
I've
Podcasts, all the
done. I don't
places.
know if anybody
Two of
that's
them.
listening wants to hear me talk more. I did one for an album called 230 West Almond Street, Apartment A, that I put out in 20. I don't fucking remember, 2020. I think it finally came out. Maybe 2019. I don't even know. And then I did one for my most recent full length Mono Sapien that I think we did in like.
You were the last one I did. It was like in the fall.
Okay, yeah, and
So.
we're not good at staying on topic, so it's we talked about a lot of wild shit on the last one. I remember listening to it after we did it. I remember listening to it at work one day after it came out, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, we spanned the earth, we spanned the universe. I mean, we went. This is kind of what we do when you and I talk. That's why I like talking to you.
Well, thanks.
But there's
We talked about furries and butt plugs.
That's right, which is, I mean, that's always at the top of my
Important
list.
concepts.
But I heard the one you did with Nathan Brown and JD Wilkes, which I thought was really cool.
Very, very interesting guys.
Those are some Paducah people. JD Wilkes is probably the most successful artist out of Paducah. He's, toured Europe, blah, 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 all over the United States. He has a band called the legendary Shack Shakers.
Can I ask what the fuck is going on with him? He was having some posts on Instagram that were kind of weird.
I don't know, and I am on Instagram, but my Instagram is, I don't follow anybody really like that's in the area. I'm just kind of on there and keeping it pretty low key, if you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, man. Go ahead, sorry.
I have no idea. I haven't JR Tolkien. I haven't talked to JD in over a year, probably. Like, I haven't seen him. I think the last time I saw him was when the what's Nathan's band's name? Solid Rocket Boosters played at Paducah Beer Works, like right after the pandemic was like not over, but people could do stuff. And
we were pretending like we weren't, still around a virus.
I mean, it didn't make any sense. I mean, let's be honest, none of it did. I don't even want to talk about that fucking shit. But
anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time. I definitely will talk to you off air about that because I'm curious.
Cool.
I hope he's doing okay. But I
hope he's okay. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to gossip in that way on here. But yeah, so there's that episode with JD, and Nathan Brown is a local guy who has a band called the Solid Rocket Boosters I just talked about, which is kind of a rockabilly thing. And basically JD and Nathan grew up playing music together, and it was kind of cool to hear the contrast. Contrast, because they are two different characters that have remained friends for a really long time and have a deep, rich musical history here in Paducah. But yeah, that's enough about the other people that.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, individually, that's the podcast, and I haven't done one in a while. I have to I'm the kind of guy that I don't force things, especially when it's just like a hobby. I don't want to taint it because if I'm not into it, it's probably good to hang it up for a while. But it's not to say that I'm not interested in doing it again. I just got a college degree. I'm getting ready to go back to college. So
what'd you get your degree in?
I won't do it. So there's a school in Lexington. It's called Sullivan University. The main campus is in Louisville, but there's one in Lexington. I live in Brussels, Kentucky, by the way. Everyone listening. But I thought
You
for a
want to tell them
while.
your home address?
Yeah, dude, I live on no.
104 Dusty Lane. Boom!
That's actually
Boom!
it's 69 420 Dusty
Yeah,
Lane.
69 420 Dusty Lane.
Yeah.
Is that your email address or is that your MSN Messenger handle
It
from when you were in high
it's
school?
no, it's my Bebo. That's what it is. But I definitely lost my train of thought. Sorry, Chris.
It's
That's
what I
embarrassing.
do, man. You come in here, it's fucking mental karate. You start talking, try to have like a good thought, and then I'm just like, hiya, and then I hit you, you know.
Shot me straight in the
Well, I
fucking
was
face.
asking you what got your degree in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so I thought for a while that I wanted to, because I've been a Spanish interpreter for a while, and I was about 2 years into interpreting when I moved here, and I thought, I could work in immigration law as a paralegal, maybe even a lawyer someday, because I speak Spanish and I really believe in immigration. So I went to Sullivan for a couple of years to get an associate's in science in legal studies. So basically, you can do a few things to that degree. You don't have to have that degree to work with lawyers as a paralegal, but I wanted to have some.
That's awesome, man.
Well, last year I took 4 months off from my job that I am still at, and I decided that I wanted to work for a law firm. And I won't name names because lawyers are vindictive sometimes, but I definitely had a very bad experience at a law firm in Lexington, and it kind of changed my mind. But I'm going back to school to do communications, and then I'm going to go to UK and finish it up. And
And then hopefully get a job working at a Spanish radio station.
maybe either that or something that will pay me enough to put bread on my table.
Man, I'm so fascinated. You're talking about immigration. Let's talk
Yeah,
about immigration. I mean,
sure.
that's an interesting topic.
I mean,
And
I don't know everything about it, but
I
I
don't
definitely
either. I don't know anything about anything. But like, I remember I've always been very, we're a country of immigrants. Like,
oh yeah,
let people in. What the hell? And I understand. Obviously, you have to have some sense of security at the border. You can't just have people coming and going
right.
because you got to keep track of folks.
Hmm.
But the first time that I ever, like, you always hear the tropes, like, they're coming over here and stealing our jobs and all that stuff. And then you hear the opposing argument is, no, they're doing the jobs that people don't want.
And
And,
better.
and when I lived in Nashville, I actually saw firsthand what it actually is, and it's neither one of those things. But the only argument I could make against just like illegal immigrants, really, to be honest with you, would be that they do keep wages low for a lot of blue collar jobs because they're willing to work less or work not, and that's the thing, they're not working for less. But what they are doing is giving fake social security numbers. And then white people, like the guy I used to work for in Franklin, Tennessee, will take that fake social security number and then withhold taxes from that paycheck all year long. And then at the end of the year, I don't know how it works, but I would imagine if it's a fake social security number, that white business owner doesn't have to pay in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm very familiar with a lot of these kinds of things that happen, but I can't give you an opinion on that, or like even like I can't say what actually happens, and I
I
really
don't know, but I
don't
mean,
have
I
any.
just think that it's kind of funny that it's always like the arguments you hear are
Oh yeah, they
they're
took our jobs.
yeah, they took our jobs, or
Or shit.
they're doing, and then the other side of that argument, generally from the left, is always, well, they're doing the jobs nobody else wants to do. But I was doing landscaping in Nashville with a bunch of guys from Guatemala, and they were great. I loved them, and I spoke. They helped me with my Spanish, which I took like 3 years of Spanish in high school, and then I took a year in college, and so I had a, you know, fundamental idea of how to do it. But we helped each. I mean, that shit, man. When I first moved to Nashville, I spoke more Spanish in the first 3 months than I did English because I didn't know anybody when I moved there, and I was working with these guys, and I would help them with their English, and they would help me with my Spanish, and it was fucking awesome. I love speaking Spanish. The job I'm working right now, I just got a new job, thank God, working days, and I'm working at a window factory, and there's some Spanish speaking people that work there, and I love it. I think it's like speaking Spanish to me is the most beautiful thing because I'm not good at it. You know, I mean, I sound like a like third grader, or not even third, like a 4-year old probably to them. But whenever you can finally breach the gap and it makes sense and you guys understand each other, it's like, to me, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. It really, really is. And I might be a cheese dick for saying that, but
No.
I think it's gorgeous when, like, you know, we're trying to, like, there's a guy, like, I'm also not big on coming out and speaking Spanish to someone because I feel like that's kind of insulting to just be like, hola,
I
¿cómo
assume
estás,
you
amigo?
speak Spanish by
Yeah,
your looks.
exactly. And I never do that.
A little
And so
bit racist.
I have a lot of, I always have a lot of trepidation about even trying. And there's this dude named Julio I'm working with. And we've kind of, like, I made him laugh the other day in Spanish. And that was.
How do you laugh in Spanish, bro? I know what you mean.
I spoke Spanish and I made him laugh. And it was so stupid because we were putting like these big ass, like huge 10-foot long windows in the back of this semi truck. And this guy pushed it at me and it hit my foot.
Wow.
And it hurt really bad, but I didn't know how to say foot. And I was like, mi zapato. And
My shoe.
Yeah, my shoe. And Julio laughed really hard at that. And I've made him laugh one other time. But like, and now he's like opened up a little bit and he's trying to help me and I'm trying to help him. Like, he told me the word for rain the other day and I already forgot it because I'm just like, sky agua. But
Lluvia.
What is it, Dubia?
Lluvia with 2 L's.
Do it again. See, this is
Lluvia.
Lluvia.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Lluvia.
But it's Juvia?
Yeah, it makes like a J sound when there's 2 L's together.
Juvia.
Yeah, it would look like Luvia if you were looking at it.
Yeah,
but it's 2 L's.
But it sounds a little racist, to be honest with you.
Really? Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm about to bleep.
See, I speak Spanish, so I'm not thinking in those terms. But yes, I see where you're going.
Yeah. We'll just call the episode Juvia. See how that
Juvia.
goes.
Making it rain.
Yeah.
Some hose.
Which is also kind of racist if you're saying Juvia.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Well, how about I tell you a little bit what I feel about immigration? Is that cool?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Well, I'll keep it short because I've been working with, very close with immigrants.
May I before you go, may I clarify something? All I was saying is like, it is a bit of a problem that they keep wages low, but the reason they keep wages low is because the business owners hire them. And so, like, to punish the immigrant is kind of ignorant. You should punish the business owner that willingly hires illegal immigrants if you want to punish somebody. You know what I mean? Because they're taking advantage of both the immigrant and the system. And
they're making a ton of money off of a job well done while not paying out a whole lot of money.
Exactly. And everybody talks about how they come over here and they get free health care. Well, guess what? If you make the process for immigration a little bit simpler, which I know was complicated by 9/11 and all that jazz. But if you make it simpler, then they'll come over here and pay into the system. They're not going to not do that. You know what I mean? Like,
I've met so many people, dude, with so many different stories, so many walks of life through the years. But I'll say this: I do believe, and I think any American with a brain, which, well, never mind.
But anyway, they're few and far between these days.
Yeah, well, anybody with some common sense who lives in this country, whether they're citizens or not, can agree that the immigration system is outdated. It needs to be reformed, and it needs to be a little more fair.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, working at the law firm for 4 months, there were tons of people who would come in and they would ask the lawyer. She would charge her exorbitant fees just to talk to him, because once you sign on, then she washes her hands of you and the paralegals do everything. But anyway, when she would charge her exorbitant fees to client intake or whatever, she would say, how can I help you, blah blah, and they would come at her like, hey, I heard that Biden was going to reform immigration, this, that, and the other. And I'm interpreting in these interviews because she didn't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But
Man,
they would
that's
ask
so
like
cool. I didn't know this about you. It's or maybe I did and I forgot, but it's awesome.
my
Keep going.
professional. That's what I've been doing for 6 years.
I
But
love it.
anyhow, basically they would ask, "Is there any way I can, become legal, whatever form that may take?" And she would go over these laundry list of questions, and she knew her stuff. She's really good at what she did, but she would ask them all these questions, and maybe this or that or this, you qualify for this, kind of defense or what have you, or case. And a lot of people would be awesome people who have been here a while and they've done nothing but work their asses off. And then at the end of the thing, she would be like, "Sorry, I can't help you." And basically, it was really disheartening to see the look on their faces because they're very hard workers and they just wanted to raise a
Yeah.
family in a safe place. And there wasn't much relief that she could, not her herself do for them, but set them up for success through the immigration proceedings. But basically, what I'm trying to say is it's not real easy to become legal.
No.
So this is why people just come in and they do their thing
Well, and
because they don't get a chance.
and another thing is the irony of it is it's probably much harder to become legal if you're a blue collar person, and it's hilarious that like the capitalist the typical capitalist in America who starts a business that the fundamental earnings of that business come from blue collar work, which they keep their hands, their hands aren't getting dirty. They're hiring other people to do that, and that's fine. That's the way it works. They're taking all the risk, but that's like. Let's say somebody from Guatemala wants to come to the United States and they have a doctorate degree in biology or whatever, like the chances of them getting in is probably pretty good. I know that there is some kind of thing where if you have an education, it's much easier for you to get in. And it's kind of funny that like we're saying let's make it difficult for these people that are uneducated and are just hardworking, and then they come over here and it's such a convoluted thing that at the end of the day, like everything else in this fucking country, serves the rich.
Well, I'll
It
tell you this, Chris. Sorry to cut you off, but before I forget, to your point you're making, I know that there are a lot of work-related visas and things like that. X amount of money in question. There's a lot of rules, blah blah blah, and like certifications if they come overseas, blah blah blah. If they are acknowledge that. A lot of times it's a language barrier that keeps people professionals from doing things like that unless they have like a nice setup through
okay,
like a business. But
okay,
I'll say this, man, in terms of refugees, I have met a lot of Venezuelan and Cuban refugees who are doctors, surgeons, psychiatrists, you name it,
wow,
and they had to flee their countries because of oppression. Actual oppression, not you, Ashley, when you don't get the right Starbucks fucking flavor,
yeah.
but actual oppression. Dude,
My name is Stacy with a not an EY, it's a Y. God
yeah,
damn it! And this isn't a
EY.
vente.
God, I
Sorry.
still fucking hate Starbucks sizes. I just say, give me a fucking large.
Yeah, I saw something about that the other day, like someone making fun of that, but it's neither here nor there.
Well,
So,
anyway, real
but
quick, those
yeah, man, back to your point.
professionals, they come in here and they have all this experience and they have all this schooling they've done, blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. And they come in here, yeah, they're coming here as refugees, applying for asylum and all that. And in the meantime, until they get work permits and stuff, because they're trying to do it right, they don't want to mess up their cases by working when they're not supposed to. They can't work, and even when they get their work permits and they want to work, and do everything the right way in terms of the law anyway. I'm not going to be objective and say what's right or wrong,
Hmm.
but um, they often, I've seen a lot of people like doctors specifically who are very very good at what they do, and all of a sudden they're cleaning toilets, and it's fucking
Damn.
sad. I'm
There's
not
a
saying
TV
that people
show
that clean
about that.
toilets are not
There's a
doing
TV
stuff,
show
but
about that. I saw an ad for that shit. There's some TV show. I think I saw an ad for it on Hulu about an immigrant who she's a woman and she's a doctor and she's Latina, and she like I might be maybe I made this up, but I don't know the name of the show, but there's a show about that where this girl like maybe works in a hospital as a janitor, but she's a good doctor and like
yep.
something to that effect. I don't remember.
And another thing that keeps them from doing it is a language barrier too. So even if they do get certified or their stuff transfers, if they don't speak English, their chances at getting that job are very hard to. It's very hard to attain. But I'm just
Well, I
making
mean,
the point
that's just the
that I
way the
feel
fucking cookie
people.
crumbles. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like
That's common
that in
sense.
and of
But
itself, like
look at the irony of it when they have to flee their countries, and then yes, a lot of them are very happy to be here, but they have to do there are a lot of hard jobs. But I have nothing but respect for those people. And my point
oh
I'm trying to make
yeah,
about immigration is
likewise.
we need to be a little more. I'm not gonna say easy, but there needs to be accountability because we're a sovereign nation. But I think we're a little, not just a little. I think we're pretty damn tough on them in terms of like
I think
denying
it just
people who
needs.
are great
I
people
think that like
statuses.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I guess my solution ever since, because like I said, I was always like let everybody in. That was always my attitude, and I think it still is. But the thing that I think so funny about it is that there's this argument that's perpetuated with politicians, and it's like they're both arguing these extremes, and this is everything. And it's so redundant for me to even say this, but like at the end of the day, if they would just make it easier for anybody trying to come across the southern border to get in, then you would have a record of them. They would be paying taxes. They're not paying taxes right now, and they're coming either way. So I don't know. It's almost like with immigration, our country wants to act like we don't have access to fucking computers. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a system. There are systems that they use. That's if they catch you. But if you're coming in undocumented in terms of like you never check in with immigration, you're not going to be in the system. But there's a
well,
very
I know that, but what I'm
extensive
saying is
system. But
make it easier where if I'm living in Mexico City and I want to come to the United States, like, dude, when you get a job as an American, you have a fucking background check you have to take to get a job. And if
yeah,
something fucked up pops up on that, you don't
hmm
get the job. So you're telling me that we can't do that with the internet
we
and
we
computers?
can
We
with people
totally
who are
could.
applying. People who are actually applying through the embassies in said countries to come in are going through a rigorous process, and they're
That's what I'm
coming
saying.
through
Make
their
it not
lives.
rigorous.
Right. Well, for that yeah, I see what you're saying. But unfortunately, our politicians lie a lot,
Well,
and
and
they pretend
guess
like
who's
they want
mowing
to
their
help, but they
fucking
don't.
lawn?
Yeah.
That's the irony of it. It's like when I was working landscaping in Nashville. I mean, I'm working with a crew of guys that were mostly Guatemalan, and there was me and the boss was a white guy, not the guy that owned the company, but the like crew leader or whatever. But it was like 7 of us, and I mean, shit, dude. Like, if you want to feel bad about yourself, go pick weeds at a fucking $5 million house, 8 hours a day for, I think at the time I was making $10 an hour, just bent over in the yard picking fucking weeds. And, you know, the very people that are living in that house that I'm picking their weeds, right?
Yeah.
Guarantee you they're anti-immigration. Would almost, without a doubt, if I had to guess, I would say more of them were anti-immigrant. There's a documentary about what is it, A Day Without Mexicans in L.A. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it, and it basically shows what would happen if Los Angeles, you got all these people being anti-immigrant, and it's like, well, take them all away for a day. Here's what would happen. And so it's kind of, the immigration thing is kind of an allegory for capitalism in general, where it pretends it's almost like virtue signaling that they don't like it, like Republicans or whatever.
But they benefit from it.
But they benefit from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they don't like. It's just crazy. Like if I'm fucking, let's say Mitch McConnell, just to use.
I hope you're not fucking Mitch McConnell. That'd be gross, bro.
Oh man, it would be, and you'd have to.
Sorry about that.
Well, the thing that would be weird about it is you'd have to raise up his little turtle tail to get to it, and
And
the flaps and everything. It'd be very strange. But like,
Anyway,
but with like, let's say just Mitch McConnell, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's a Republican, and I'm sure he's probably anti-immigration because he has to
Well,
cater.
he's got a Chinese wife, Chris. He's clearly not racist.
Well, I doubt he is racist.
I don't know.
I doubt he is. I doubt
Maybe
he
not.
is. Mitch McConnell's an educated person. I doubt he's racist, but he is a fucking grifter,
Yeah.
and he caters to what he knows the people of Kentucky are going to vote for. And so that's the, I mean, I'll shut the fuck up. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to contact Mitch McConnell because I've got a family of illegal immigrants living under my house right now. I've got a fucking possum. I've already trapped one possum. I've already trapped one possum with a live trap about a month ago.
Did it hiss at you?
It didn't. I trapped it with some peanut butter, and then I
Ooh.
took it down to the river inside of the cage, and I let it go. I made a hilarious Instagram video of it running towards the
I feel like I
river.
saw that.
It was like a whole new world. I was very proud of myself. But I thought it was a raccoon originally, and I was worried about my cat. But now
Yeah.
I have a different possum, or the same possum came back. And guess what it's doing right now? It's got babies. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So I got a whole family of illegal immigrants living under
Are
my
you
house,
feeding
and
them?
I need to contact Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, I don't know about turtles and possums. I don't know how kind of relations they have.
Uh, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is a real problem I'm having. Like, in my bathroom, I can hear this morning actually, I got up about 6:30, and I was in my bathroom, and I heard this rustling underneath my bathtub, which I hear constantly, and I knew there was a possum down there, right? And so I hear a lot of crazy noise, and I'm kind of worried it's my cat because I let her out, and I was like, oh God, if the cat's getting
Oh,
in a
she's
fight.
okay.
Yeah, And I went out to the side of the house and like shined a flashlight into the crawl space, and this possum is hanging on wires, trying to get up somewhere, but she's got at least two or three possum babies like trying to nurse. So now I have I like the what is it, like I'm like an ICE member now for this possum because I want to get this possum out of my country, but I also know that if I trap it, its babies are going to die. So I've got a real conundrum. What do I and seriously, this is not bullshit. I literally have a possum and three or four babies living under my house right now. So what do I do?
Are they loud though?
They don't make a lot of noise. The only thing I'm worried about is the cat. I don't and
Ultimately, that's your baby.
especially now that the possum has babies. Like, if my cat rolls into the basement or with the crawl space and those little pups are down there, that possum will fuck my cat up because it's getting near,
Because it's a wild animal with babies.
yeah. So I don't know what to do. And I mean, obviously, I'm going to prioritize my cat. But I also feel horrible about like trapping a possum, which I could easily do. They're very dumb, and they will walk into a trap for a little bit of creamy peanut butter, and
Right.
But then if I do that, then these pups die. And I tried to call fucking the wildlife people or whatever, and they won't do it. And if you want to get animals like hand removed, it costs like $500, which it should.
Find a way to benefit the good old boys club by getting the possum and go from there. Somehow if they can do like a news release about it, then they'll definitely want to do it.
Say what? I couldn't understand you. It was a
I was
little-
just saying, get the good old boys at the animal control to find an incentive for them to do it. Maybe they'll get like a little ad in the paper or something. Because all you gotta do is just call them and be like, "Hey, I've got a story," like you said, right?
They're not going to do it. I've already tried. So it's really just up to me. That's the beauty of being a homeowner.
Yeah.
Is when shit like this happens, you become a zoologist, and I don't really know. I don't know what to do. What would you
And two
do?
expert white guys talk about immigration reform.
Yeah.
And it really matters what we say.
It doesn't matter what we say. You know.
I'm just very self-deprecating. It is what it is, Chris.
I don't think you should be, man. I don't think you
You
should
think
be.
so?
I think that. I mean,
Your case.
I'm very self-deprecating too. But I think I don't think you have a lot of reasons to be self-deprecating. You know, I have a lot. I mean, you everybody has a lot of faults, but I can be a
Hmm.
real piece of shit.
Oh, I can too.
Yeah, but you seem to collectively have your shit together. So I think you should. I don't know. Take a moment and like
Be thankful.
not even thankful, proud.
Yeah. Proud.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
guess I'm
literally,
programmed
dude.
to
You
never actually flaunt my own shit or something. I don't know.
well, I mean, that's a good thing, but you did just like get a degree. You're doing all this stuff that you just told me about. I mean, I don't know. Like, and look, I understand. I'm very self-deprecating too, and a lot of times I think one of the most, or some of the most idiotic things I've ever done in my life is when I get a little bit too full of myself, you know? And a lot of times that overcorrection of arrogance comes from insecurity, you know? Because I'm not a super confident person moment to moment. I mean, I'm capable at a lot of things. And I
You're
feel
talented. I'll stroke your ego. You're a very good musician, Chris.
yeah, I'm okay at that. You know, I'm learning how to do this. I can record music. I'm real good at putting windows in a semi truck. And,
Oh fuck yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's so funny that, like, everybody does this to themselves. Everybody minimizes their successes. And not everybody, but a lot
Well,
of people.
Trump doesn't.
Fuck that guy. We're not going to talk about him.
I had to throw you a bone there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't want that bone. I'll put that bone up Mitch McConnell's turtle ass.
Woo! Move the flaps first, buddy.
But yeah, man. Like I think I don't know. It's such a hard thing to balance. Self-deprecation or just staying grounded, and then also recognizing that a you are good at things. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
Like it's a tough motherfucking thing to find balance between, because there's nothing worse than an idiotic, arrogant person. Like idiocy and arrogance are a disgusting combination. So
They're really easy too.
say what?
There's nothing to it. It has no substance. It's a very easy fucking state to be in.
Yeah, it's a state of vacancy. And it's
That's right.
just so it's like I don't know, man. And I've had moments where, and my internal dialogue is very self-deprecating, and sometimes I'll try to manifest some confidence in order to try to progress either the podcast or my music or whatever, because at the end of the day, if we're doing this independently, we have to be the factory, the salesman, the CEO, and all that shit. Like
Oh, crew.
yeah, you're the fucking producer. I mean, you know how it is
Oh,
recording.
you're talking to someone who's meticulous about whatever they put out there for people
Yeah,
to consume. Like, I go all in on it, man. I get it.
yeah, and it's like although neither one of us have ever really had large success with really anything we've ever done as far as our extracurricular interests go,
Like the reach of it has been, in
minimal.
the shallow end. We haven't made
Yeah,
it deep end. It's just in the shallow end.
of course, but you know that
Low lying fruit, like bars and drunk people that like the way you play notes or sound, and then that doesn't ever go beyond that. It doesn't actually amount to much, and that's a little bit of a pessimistic way to look at it. But I'm just
No,
this
I think that's a really realistic way to look at it, and I think
yeah.
that when I look back at my own personal thing, it's like I feel guilty for, particularly with music, like when I was doing the thing where it was like bars and people and they liked my music and stuff like that. I knew that didn't matter, but I sure as shit like basked in the glory of it. You know what I mean? Because it felt good. It felt good to like play my music, which I'd been dreaming about playing my whole life for people, and them actually,
It means something to you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. And so, I don't think that I ever necessarily took the bait on the low hanging fruit of like local praise, but I definitely like basked in it and like it was just like, oh, it feels fucking good to like, but then
It kind of validates how you feel, though, in a way. Sometimes when
oh
you get
yeah, yeah, yeah,
told
man.
you
Yeah.
sound good.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't know. I don't know. I just wish that my I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, so back to the balance thing. It's very difficult to be. I mean, if you are talented at something, like, why is it so bad to be like, yeah, I'm fucking good at this? Like,
I don't
why?
think it's bad. I just think there's a line to walk when you say something like that.
But why does there have to be a line to walk? Like if you're good at podcasting, for example, or you're, like if are you going to feel ashamed to say that you're good at speaking Spanish?
Definitely not.
Okay, so why would you be ashamed to say you're good at podcasting?
I guess you could say that with music. If I'm talking about music, I definitely I don't think I'm bad at music. I think that I can write okay songs. I think I'm on pitch and I can play stuff and I can learn quickly. But I'm really bad at selling myself. So maybe that's an issue of like actually selling myself to people, and not just selling myself like money, just the phrase selling yourself and trying to get people to like what you're
Yeah,
saying,
I'm
or
I'm
what you're
not very
doing.
good at that either. Like, and I think for me, I've ex, I've experienced this. Tell me if you agree with me, but I find it really difficult to put a price tag or whatever on, not a price tag, but you know what I mean, like a used car price tag, like for sale, $9,995 or whatever, on music, because the reason I got into music originally was to avoid the, for lack of a better word, here it comes again, grifter shit.
Mm.
I felt like I always thought music was so cool because it was something that could be commodified if you were honest. And
Yeah,
I really liked that about it. That was like a big appeal for me musically at the beginning, was like, it was really the only thing that I saw where the more honest you were, the bigger the payoff. Like, and music is like one of those things where if you can cut through all the bullshit and get down to like, you know, the human emotional wavelength or whatever you want to call it, that that everybody has in common. If you can do that with a song, then people are going to relate to it, and that's the only way to get to that wavelength, is to be honest. And that was really the first thing I ever saw where it was like, holy shit, like,
I can speak to that because I'm good at talking to people. It all Whether it's for survival, whether it's for sustenance, whether it's whatever. I will say though, I found myself in situations where I would have played a set in a dingy, smoky bar, and I'm ready to go outside and breathe, and I'm not really wanting to talk to anybody, and I'm done tearing down. Somebody comes up to me, and they're looking at me, and they're like, "Hey," like there's this like deep look in their eyes. They're like, "Hey." That meant a lot to me, and I'm like kind of taken back by that. Like my first reaction is I don't believe you because I'm very skeptical in life, but my second reaction is, well, maybe they really meant that, but I don't know what to say to them in this very moment, that because when I've been honest and I've written certain lyrics or formed them with sound, to make the full song, maybe it's spoken to somebody on a level that language they understand. It's something I couldn't do just talking to them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure. Well, it's a
But I mean,
different,
there's
and,
really
and
nothing
back to
crazy
the
there.
which is kind of funny, uh, being able to play music and get really close to whatever that wavelength truth, what universal truth really would be what I'm shooting for, I guess. That's kind of like being bilingual, you know, like
Definitely.
it's so cliche, but it's literally, music is literally the universal language. And I think back to what I was talking about with like just being able to make Julio laugh the other day on the truck whenever I got hit in the foot and I was like, mi Zapato. Like, like that in a nutshell, that little moment to me was like a good song, where like it
You're
landed.
right about it.
Well, no, it landed. Like
That
that's
feeling,
what a
yeah.
good song is supposed to do is like evoke. It's supposed to get a person to feel something, you know? And it's difficult to find balance in that where I mean, I don't know, I've written a lot of shit and I catch myself kind of trampling my own garden, because I'm walking through my own existence, stepping on flowers in order to try to find the song instead of just looking at the goddamn garden going, I'm doing pretty good. And I overanalyze everything. I mean, one of my best friends
Can't see
always,
the forest for the trees since we're talking about plants.
yeah, exactly. And one of my best friends always tells me that I suffer from paralysis by analysis. And he's right.
Oh yeah,
And he's
that's.
right.
I have never heard that, but that's really fucking satisfying as a rhyme and a concept.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, like, I do because I can, even like the immigration thing we were talking about earlier, I can see it from, in the right. I can see it from the left. I can see it from the middle. I can see it from the point of view. I mean, you got 360 degrees. You can look at something, and I can look at it from all those and understand every single fucking angle. You know what I mean? And so I find it hard to decide which one's right. And at the end of the day, I think they're all right, which is the most hippie thing ever to say. And I kind of hate myself now, but I mean, I
You're
do.
like one of those hippies that say that God is just the expression of all things, regardless of whether it's where you're from or what you witnessed, and you know what I mean. Like
I would agree with that. I mean, I hate hippies, but
I'm not a fan.
but yeah, like I think so. Yeah, I think I always like. I feel like God is really just the best version of yourself in your own mind.
Because you make yourself a god, don't you?
Me personally,
No, no, no.
that felt like an
like human.
attack.
No,
I'm joking.
that's
I'm joking. I'm joking.
somebody's triggered. Jesus.
Yeah, I am. Podcast over. I
Wow.
gotta go get a vente. But yeah, man, I think I have had that thought before where when it comes to God or whatever, we're really getting down into the nitty and the gritty now.
Well, we're
But
talking about all kinds of shit. This is what you do in these situations.
but I do think that with God, for example, I have thought about the fact that it's like a human invention. I mean, it's an invention. Like I'm agnostic, and I like the idea of God, but I can't believe in it because it just seems like Santa Claus for adults. And
Oh, it's some stuff I want to say that I don't. I want to say it, but okay, I'm going to say it. Is that okay? Let's go. Here we go.
fucking say it. I don't give a shit.
I think I'm not saying that people can't be spiritual, and I'm not knocking people's religion. But if you're going to ask me my opinion about it, anybody asks me, it's this. It's just that, like you say, it's daycare for adults. I know what you said.
I said Santa Claus for adults.
Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, church is daycare for adults. Anyway, I'm just being stupid. But
No, you're not being stupid. See, you're being self-deprecating again. I like that. I
I'm
like church being
being
daycare
me.
for adults. You got to be you.
Well, anyway, dude, like I look at it like this. You don't ask the deep scientific and conditional questions about life and existence itself when you have something telling you that it's a certain way and you have to believe it without even seeing it. I think that's just a weak way to get by and not suffer as a human. I guess it's just a way to, I wouldn't say a weak way, it's just another way to get by and be sure of something that you are too small minded to try and grasp, like the nature of reality, which I'm not saying I know what that is,
Of
but I'm
course.
saying it's a very cushy existence. You don't have to challenge yourself in some ways, and you can easily, what's the word I'm looking for here? You can easily look down on others since you have it all figured out, and be condescending because, oh, this is the truth. I don't care
Yeah,
what you say. And
absolutely.
yeah,
But back to what we were talking about earlier, where we both have a tendency to be self-deprecating, and then I have found myself being almost arrogant at times. It doesn't really matter what it is. Like God, God for some people is a fucking McDonald's cheeseburger, and they're fat as shit, and they're devout. You know what I mean? They're devout about McDonald's and fast food and all that shit. Like it's almost like
they're artists with it.
well, yeah, but it's almost like God can be an addiction where you're addicted to this belief that there's a man in the sky that's going to make everything okay. And I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, but I'm gonna. I have this argument against maybe not God, because I think God is a good idea and spirituality is a good idea and having a moral compass is a good idea, but the Bible as a book, you know, like what do you have to have in order to have access to the highest form of technology at any moment in time? You have to have money. And when the Bible got mass distributed across the region and then the world and so forth, what was the highest form of technology? Printing.
Yep.
And so you had a lot of rich people dumping money into printing the Bible to distribute it widely. And what does the Bible say? It says, stay in your fucking place, don't fight authority, and whenever you're dead, you'll get everything. Like, the meek shall inherit the earth. What better message to send to a bunch of fucking poor peasants that you don't want to...
Rising up and realizing they have more power than they think.
Exactly. So I think that the Bible has a really good message, and any religion has a good message. I took a philosophy of religions class in college, and the professor said that he felt like basically the different religions were just different languages that were all saying the same thing. Because
yeah, I was kind of saying that earlier. That's what I was trying to say too.
Yeah, and sorry for not picking that up, but like
no. That's just a better. That's a more simple way to put it.
But yeah, I mean, but that is true. It's like, Yahweh is to Zapato as Buddha is to shoe.
There you go.
All right, well, should I just call that the episode? I think I'm gonna, because we went
If
all
you
the
want
way
to.
down, and that's going to be the title of the episode. Yahweh is to Zapato as Buddha is to shoe.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
I love you. This was a good
Yeah,
conversation. I think we knocked out a lot of weird shit like we always do. And
you and I could go for at least 3 more hours.
Oh, I know we could.
But
I know we
fucking
could.
But
But
I am sad that we're not, but I know we have to, do this. But we're going to have to, when I get my podcast going again, I'll just feature you on it, and it'll be individually featuring Chris Black every time.
I mean, that's totally fine. And I'll come in and, you can have a jam band on. And all I'll say the whole episode is
You take that the fuck back, bro. I hate jam music.
All I'll say is I fucking hate hippies.
Yeah, dude. Listen, real quick. This is funny. Last thing I want to say. When you were talking about smoking weed and listening to Korn, first of all, God, oh man, I respect you for surviving that. But second of all,
probably one of my first panic attacks.
Oh man, damn. I'll say this: one of the worst things to do is to be stuck when you're around said things, and people are listening to something like Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to say I've been there, but I know a guy who's been there.
If you're not feeling the vibe, you don't want the vibe to go on for 15 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
I can tell you how much I hate those bands, but
I'm going to get a little plug in for myself now that I think about it.
Take any chance you can, bro.
Speaking of 15 and a half minutes, I just put out an album that's not going to come out till May 13th called the Carl Winslow Sessions. My cousin came down and played drums on a track, and then we were going to do a whole album. And I ended up deciding that I just kind of wanted to move on from where I was musically and into something else. So I put out a single that's called the Carl Winslow Sessions, but there's 3 songs in it. So it's 9.5 minutes long.
So it's one of those. There's a lot of movements in it. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, there's
So
just
good for
three
you.
songs, man. There's just three songs inside of,
Right, but
and
it's
I'm
one thing, right?
yeah.
It's
I
a
just
whole.
titled the whole thing the Carl Winslow Sessions. So the titles of the song aren't included or anything like that. I'll be honest
Okay.
with you. I don't have a lot of money right now, and it was cheaper to put it out if it was a single. So I said, "Fuck it, let's do it that way." And I also
There you
kind
go.
of find it interesting because it's going to be the kind of thing where people are going to have to like, if they like the second song, but they don't like the first song, they're going to have to like hit play on Spotify and then scroll forward to the second song.
If you're lucky, they even make it that far, bro.
I think I'll be all right. I mean,
I'm fucking with you.
I think the songs are pretty good. And the first song, of course, I put the most, the one that's going to suck people in at the beginning. But it's kind of this like weird 9.5 minute journey from like emotional journey from anger to peace. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's kind of beautiful, and I'm very happy with it. So that'll be out soon. And if you're ever in a turquoise Ford Ranger smoking weed in the country and someone's trying to listen to Corn, go ahead and just tell them two things. Hey, we can listen to Chris Black's The Carl Winslow Sessions. And before we do, I want to let you know something, old friend. Corn is not a good band.
No,
And also, I want to let you know that Yahweh is the Zapato.
as Buddha is the shoe.
And that's it, boys and girls. Have a lovely day. Bye
Well,
bye.
thank you, Chris.
All right, later. 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 Later.